Okay. Rocket launcher. STP.
Hello guys and welcome to today's STPL. We're going to have two series coming your way. Starting us off is going to be Wico versus ReV. I've already forgotten what the series are. Then afterwards we're going to have iRk versus NaS. Now it's going to be Wico. Oh, you may have just heard my own voice has opened up my YouTube stream as well. But either way, should be a fun Friday. I'm so glad it's the weekend. Work today was such a pain in the ass, but we made it. We're here. And we're going to get started with some STPL, so let's introduce both of our teams to start us off here, and then we can go from there. So starting us off is going to be Clan Wico. Clan Wico, of course, the newer team for Season 4. They were in Season 3 technically, but they were in as part of... they were basically in as part of Valhalla team, and then they kind of split off midway throughout the season, so... One of those things, it happens. There was a little bit of kind of miscommunication between the teams. They didn't really get on very well. So that's just here in this season. They've done a pretty damn good job so far. And they've given us some really good games. Now, one thing about Wico is they play very aggressively, which is something that I didn't actually know about until we started watching them. So it's kind of cool to be able to sit there and learn about them, learn about their players as well, because Wico don't really have pro players as such. I think they have... I don't even think they have any pro players, actually. It's kind of weird. But there we go, that's Wico. Their opponents starting us off here On the other side is going to be Clan Revolution. Clan Revolution, of course, one of the longest standing teams in the foreign community. Let's should take a win. Can they get another win here today? That is what we're going to find out. Let's have a look at our first set of matchups. We're going to start with a ZvZ, which is MutLE versus VIR. We're going to have a PvP between hiya and Aeternum, a PvZ between Speed and Hirmu, and a PvP between Digda and NarsiL. So in this series, we've got quite a few mirrors, but in the next series, we've got none. So if you're looking forward to no mirrors, then there we go. We're going to have a look at these games first. Starting us off is going to be Rosen Bridge. Rosen Bridge in ZvZ. I mean, we've only had one so far where Shine took down Mitak, but honestly, like ZvZ, even on this map, is quite fast. Even if you're both on an island, ZvZ still ends fast. It's kind of funny. But looking forward to seeing how that's going to go. Let's get into it. Game number one. It is VIA versus MutLE. Well, that's not supposed to be playing. Either way. Okay, starting us off here in the top left-hand corner, we do have in the red, fighting for ReV. It's VIR from Sweden. And his opponent spawning up or down here in the bottom left-hand corner, fighting from South Korea for Wico. It's MutLE. Now it is ZvZ. One of the players is on an island, one of them is on the mainland. Neither player should be going for Lings here, but VIR might feel forced into doing it. It seems a bit weird, but honestly, not really too sure what's going to happen. So, that means he must have gas tricked again. No way is he going to do it again, right? Okay, no, he's just going to build the gas, right? That makes sense. I was going to say there's absolutely no way he gas tricks again, surely. Like, when is he going to build his Overlord? Okay, the Overlord is finally coming in. But all of the messing around he's done with the drones, he will get extra lava a little bit quicker. Oh no, he's just built 6 Lings. 8 Lings. He's going for a Ling all in. This is the weirdest decision in the world on this map. On the 33% chance your opponent has spawned on the mainland as well. I don't agree with this. This is such a weird build. Like, I can understand you wanting to get a cheeky win over someone, but on a map where essentially 2 of the bases are on an island, there's no way you're going to make a Ling all-in work. Like, you have to be obscenely lucky for your opponent to be on the mainland with you. And he is going to be a very, very disappointed ZvP when these Lings get to this base, because not only has he delayed his lair, not only has he lowered his drone count, this is essentially the basically cross your heart and hope to die build. You're like, okay, I'm gonna go and attack, and if you don't have anything, I win. But he is gonna find out his opponent is not there, and he is probably going to tap out, but maybe not. Looks like he's not gonna tap out, but I don't know. It's weird. Maybe VIR just didn't look at the map, but I'm fairly certain he would have done. It seems a bit weird that you wouldn't in this situation, but I can't guess. I mean, this is a very weird situation overall, so... Okay, so unfortunately the Lings are going to find out the hard way. They cannot get over there now. He could technically go for Overlord drop and then drop Lings into the main. That would be pretty good, but when there's Mutas out, and there's going to be Mutas incredibly soon, they are spawning now, the Mutas will just kill the Lings. Like, there's no way around this. Like, he's running around trying to find any way off of the island, but he's learning the hard way that this is an island map, I guess. I can't believe we're 7 weeks in and we've got a game like this. I mean, why would you even bother killing this hive? It doesn't make any sense. You may as well keep it. Because you get the you get the creep, right? And here we go, the Muteless are heading over the map. There's 4 already with a 5th on the way out the main base here. The hatchery is coming up. This will be a 3rd hatchery, which is pretty good. We've got a creep colony coming in, but there's no spore just yet. There are going to be 6... Well, okay, it's not going to be 6 Mutas. There's going to be a lot of Scourge. If he can get all of these to connect, maybe he has a chance. But he's down to 7 drones, 6 drones, 5 drones, essentially. I know he's up 1 on what I'm saying, but he was building 1. The Scourge are his only hope here, and I don't think the Scourge are going to be enough. The Ling's once again running around. Looks like his Overlord has got down here. He's actually got 3 Overlords on his opponent's island now, so all of them are going to go down, and things are going from bad to worse for VIR. He's down... I think he's got... No, he's still got no Mutelisks, and his opponent has 13. Like, this... Now 3 Muteless there, which isn't too bad, but it's just a numbers game. It's 19 drones to 8. It's 2 bases against 1. I mean, I'm not good with maths, but yeah, VIR did his best. Unfortunately, what happened was he went for a build that would work 33% of the time, and unfortunately for him, it wasn't his 33%. Like, if that was, if Mutelli had spawned on the mainland, VIR probably would have won, but looks like the spores are even going to get taken down here. The Mutelists don't even care about the damage from the spores here. Looks like this is going to be game over. 5 drones remain. The spore does go down. 1 more Mutelist dies, but there's only 3 drones remaining. The lot of Scourge spawning once again, but Scourge against Mutelist, man. There we go, GG, VIR taps out, Mutelli wins game number 1. Okay, starting us off here on the right, on the left-hand side. I read the word left and then I read right. But starting us off over here in the top left, we do have fighting for Wico in the silver. It's last. Who is sending a probe out very quickly, so we're going to have a proxy gateway here. And starting us off here in the top right-hand corner in the green, fighting for ReV, it's Aeternum. Now for me these colors look completely different, but I am on an IPS monitor, so I don't know whether or not people want me to change it to red versus blue, but for me it looks okay, so it's kind of hard to tell. But last, going in with a proxy gateway here. Now, obviously going for some kind of cannon rush is possible on this map as well. We have seen a cannon rush in PvP recently with Venom. Who did Venom play against? I can't remember. It was on Paradise, and he got cannon contained, and he actually broke out and won the game. There we go. Didn't think that was going to happen, but just a single proxy gateway here, not going to be 2-gate. Now, Aeternum is going to come out and see the probe. Now, does he actually go and check for a proxy? No, he doesn't. And that could be his downfall in this game. But of course, it is going to be 1-gate versus 1-gate even. Apparently, changing the colors would be better, so let's quickly do that. Yeah, when it's 1-gate versus 1-gate, it's not the biggest of deals. But when you have 2-gate versus 1, and it's not scouted, it's pretty much game over. And this is why I ask people to host on top versus bottom, because it allows us to do that. It is going to be 2-gate versus 1, but it's going to be 2-gate from Aeternum instead. So he is going to have the advantage, at least pushing potential-wise. He's going to come in and find out that there's no gateways in the main, and he is going to probably look to build a shield battery, I guess, given he doesn't know how many gateways there are. But with mana pylons coming up, making it very annoying to mine. Obviously, these mana pylons allow you to proxy gateways and shield batteries in your opponent's main. And that's a bit of a pain, but we will have that first zealot coming in. Zealot and zealot, 2 zealots ready for both players. Now, there's a bit of a pain because the zealot is going to try and kill this proxy pylon. And that is going to allow Last to run around with his zealots and his probes and try and take down some of these probes as they mine from the back of the minerals. This is a very, very good choice. 3 probe kills already. Can he get any more? Looks like the probe is looking for the proxy in his main base. A 4th probe going down here. Last with very, very good micro. 2 zealots, though, coming out to defend. So he should be able to hold on, but he's going to get another probe here. Oh, the probe gets the kill. 5 probe kills have been done by now. He's got another zealot in the main. 6 probe kills. Can he get a 7th? The zealot's so low on health, but it looks like we are going to have the probe going. He should really send all of his zealots on a counter, because there's going to be no defense back at home, but another probe going down. 7 probes, and that probe could have killed that zealot, actually. But with 2 gates coming back up in the main, it doesn't matter how many zealots he sends back. The probe's actually in the way of the zealot from being able to hold on to his base, losing another probe there. 8 probes overall have gone down. And this is looking very desperate now for Aeternum. He's going to send his 3 zealots. He's going to go and see if he can kill his opponent. But it's a little bit too late. There's going to be 2 zealots at least back home defending by the time he gets there. Still only 8 probes have been killed. Glitching his zealot through the minerals there. Going to allow him to pick off another one. 9 probes. Is Last going to be able to count to 10? It looks like he is. 10 probes. Ha ha ha. The count is happy. We have learned to count to 10 by killing probes, and here we go. Let's see how much damage we're going to do on this side of the coin. 2 zealots going to come in. Nice micro so far by Aeternum, which is going to help out a lot. But another 2 zealots are going to come in defending, and he didn't kill all of the zealots before he started attacking probes. And I think that's a big, big mistake. There's another zealot coming in. I think he may have killed another probe, I'm not too sure, but this is just way too much damage off of 1 gateway. 1 gateway should not be able to do this to 2 gateway. It's just, that shouldn't happen. And look at this, the probe's getting in the way of the zealots again. Oh, it's so difficult to deal with this situation though. Aeternum is really trying his best here, but microing in this kind of way when you've got a zealot bouncing around in your minerals is so, so hard. And he never killed the gateway, and I think that's really been his downfall here. But 2 zealots going to come up. They're finally going to find the gateway here, and he's probably going to feel a little bit silly, feeling like he's got a little bit of egg on his face. He finally has the wall of zealots up at the front, and very good micro to be able to stop this zealot getting in. But the zealot still gets in. Now, Aeternum, of course, where he's been building less zealots, has had more money to be able to build his probes back up a little bit. The gateway is unpowered, so this is some extra money that does go down. It's 19 probes against 12. Now there's 5 zealots coming over here. He needs to defend his main base. All hands on deck at the wall here, or he is going to be taken down. He can't fight in the open. He has to fight in a choke. And it looks like one of the zealots actually getting caught off on the damaged shack. And it's going to be 5 versus 5. One of the zealots heavily damaged back at home. Nice moves pulling that towards the gateway. If Aeternum can hold on here, there is still a chance, as Last has been cutting probes for a very long time. And the defender's advantage not going to come in here because he's got no more zealots on the way. Oh no, and he's liking the zealots in the main. I think this is the kind of capitulation of our red Protoss here, because these zealots, whether or not they fight in the main, they fight in the minerals, they do not care. They are going for the kill, and Last is pulling the knife, or pushing the knife into the heart of Aeternum here. And it's a little bit rough, but I think this is going to be game. There's not really too much poor Aeternum can do in this situation. GG. Little bit of a mistype. FG. GG. Aeternum taps out and Last wins game. What game was that? Number 2. Okay guys, welcome back. We're here for game number 3. Starting us off here in the 12 o'clock position, we have Hirmu fighting for ReV as our red Zerg player from Finland. And for the first time in what feels like an incredibly long time, starting us off down here, not a Zerg player for Hirmu. He's avoided ZvZ this week. It is going to be our blue Protoss player from South Korea. It's Speed. Now the map is Pathfinder. Very good map in ZvP, at least so far in the STPL. Well, I say that. Protoss are actually at an advantage. I got my matchups mixed up. It's Protoss versus Terran, where... No, Protoss have the advantage in both of them. No, Terran have the... you know what? I don't even know anymore. It's Friday. I've had a long week. It's been very busy today. Please forgive me. Also, when I finished work, I went on VR chat for a bit like I normally do, and I heard one of the funniest stories I've heard in a long time, but I can't really say it here, because it wouldn't be fair on the person. But it was funny. It was funny. You're gonna have to take my word for it. It's the kind of thing that would happen to me, basically, which is why it was so funny. Okay, so we are going to have... oh my god, is he going Nexus first? Speed is going Nexus first. No, the thing is, like, oh... No, he's not. He's going for a Forge. Okay, so he scouted that there was not 12... Whoa, wait, hold on a second. We had a 11 hatch, but at the third base. So that actually caused him to build the Forge before Nexus because he was worried that there was no natural. So that's actually given Hirmu a little bit of a bonus here because it gives him a little bit of extra time where he is going to be ahead economically. But the trouble is, like, I could use a fake name, but I don't think the story would really translate very well either. Because it was in Japanese and it's kind of like... A lot of it's kind of relying on how well you know the person as well, so there's no real point in me telling the story. I don't know. It's one of those kinds of stories where it's funny if you know the person, but if not, it's probably not funny at all. But Hirmu going for a 11 pool after his 10 hatch, going for another hatchery around 11 supply as well. So we're going to have a turbocharged 3 hatch by Hirmu here. As Speed is just going to be playing as normal as can possibly be. Cannon coming up behind the gateway. One of the problems Protoss do have on this map is it is quite difficult to actually wall in, especially in this position. Thank you. It's not too important that it gets in, but it's kind of good to be able to see whether or not your opponent is going for a Stargate or a Citadel first. Hirmu currently going for... I thought he was going for a lair further away, but he's not actually going for the lair at the third base at all. Now there is a probe coming up here. The probe is going to see the third. He's going to know, based on the timing, that this came up as his first expansion. And it looks like Hirmu is kind of showing that he's building some lings here. Is he going for a ling all-in? I think he might be going for a ling all-in. And we could have another very quick game here. There's only a single cannon. There is no Zealot here whatsoever. The Zealot only just now spawning. And he's going for an attack with the Zealot. This could be game over. If Speed finishes and 3 hatcheries worth of lings head towards your base, that is game over. Glad you enjoy the streams, man. But look at this. 2 lings testing the waters, finding that there's no wall here. Speed sending his first Zealot up to the top middle. He's going to be able to go for some of these drones. But these drones, not the most important in the world. He obviously does need them. He's building up his Zergling count. And there is still only a single cannon. We've got a Robo coming in first. So it's going to be Reavers behind this. Corsair Reaver instead of Corsair Templar. And to be honest, given the situation when you're up against 3 hatch, it's better to go for Reavers, I feel, than Storm, because it's almost like a guaranteed hold. But still, that's not something that he knows what he's dealing with at the moment. Hirmu going for a ton of lings. The second cannon coming in, but it's not in a great position. And Hirmu needs to pull the trigger, and that's exactly what he's going to be doing here. Looks like the lings having trouble getting into the base. Does need to make sure he focuses down on top of these Zealots. Looks like he's not even going to attack one of the Zealots. He's attacking the pylon anyway. And if this pylon goes down, the cannons are going to be completely unpowered. The gateway is even in trouble here. Oh, sorry, there's a pylon back here. But it looks like Hirmu has got the gateway. Can he get the probes? That is the major question. If Hirmu cannot deal critical damage here, it's going to be game over. And it looks like Hirmu's attack has been held. And unfortunately, that's another ReV all-in that doesn't seem to have gone the way that he was hoping it to. The gateway coming back up at the front. No Corsairs have actually been built, even if he had a Corsair. Oh, yes, it has, sorry. He's going to be able to kill all the Overlords. This is basically game over. This is so unfortunate. ReV have tried a lot of really cheeky plays here in this series. And unfortunately, for ReV, they haven't really worked out. And unfortunately for Hirmu as well, he's not in a ZvZ, because he's had so much practice in ZvZ recently that going into a ZvP must be quite hard. But looks like he's going to try and go again. If it doesn't work the first time, you may as well try again, you know. But I don't think he's going to be able to do it. He might be able to take down the gateway, but losing the gateway doesn't matter. GG, Hirmu taps out. And Speed wins the series for Wico 3-0, and we'll have game 4 when we get back after this very short break. Okay, starting us off in the top left-hand corner, we do have the blue Protoss player fighting for Wico. It's Digda. And Digda also going for proxy gateway. Starting us off down here in the bottom right-hand corner in the red, fighting for ReV is NarsiL from Portugal. So it's going to be a proxy gateway again from Wico. Somewhere in Korea, Artosis is tossing and turning in his bed, knowing that Wico are at it again, playing aggressively. When will somebody stop them? That is the question we all have to ask ourselves. But is it going to be one or is it going to be two gates? Last proved in game number 2 that one gate is all you need if you're going to win. And look at, oh my god, he's going to build the pylon behind the... Oh, this is so clever. You build the pylon behind the minerals, it basically means you cannot have your pylon... Well, you won't probably have the pylon scouted, but can he get back out? Surely he can get back out by just clicking on here, right? Yeah, NarsiL gonna go for his own gateway. It's gonna be a gateway in the natural. Just adding insult to injury. NarsiL gonna scout here. Is he gonna see the gateway? Yes, he is. He sees it immediately. So not exactly the best hidden gateway. He can't kill the pylon, which is the main thing, because it basically means the aggression is not gonna stop until you kill the gateway. And that takes a very long time, so... Let's see what NarsiL's action is going to be. He's going to go for 2 gates in response to this. Now, we saw in game 2 that his teammate, Aeternum, tried to do this very same option, and it didn't quite work out. But we'll see how it goes this time. Is history going to repeat itself, or is ReV going to get their revenge on Wico here? Okay, so obviously the probe coming up to the main base going to see that there's no gateways. He already saw the gateway as he left his base. We've already got the second pylon coming in. Probe and Zealot have been pulled here. He wants to kill this Zealot as soon as humanly possible, because he knows if he doesn't, he is going to be in for a world of hurt. And it looks like Zealot and Probe coming in from the other side as well. There is a mana pylon here, which is ironically going to save this probe, but... Looks like the Zealot going to get on top of the probes here. Oh my god, this is nice defense so far. Good bugging out on that Zealot, not losing a single probe so far, and getting Digda's probe. So this is definitely working out a little bit better for NarsiL here. Thank you, Cadenzi, for the host, raid, whatever you just did. I don't know how it works. I saw you beat A's, so... That's how it is, but looks like the Zealot at the main base here going to be pushed away. Second Zealot going to be taken down as well by the looks of it. No probes have been lost so far by NarsiL. Great micro so far. Looks like a single probe going to go down, but not without losing 2 Zealots. And that is not a trade you want to be taking here. Obviously more and more Zealots are going to start funneling in. But looks like a second probe has gone down, but that's 3 Zealots so far for the cost of 2 probes. Definitely not worth it. But NarsiL has cut probes here. He's not been building probes as much, so Digda's actually ahead economically. And there is, of course, this pylon still here that's causing this probe to be kind of annoying, but... if we look up here, we've got 2 additional gateways coming in, so Digda is going to do exactly what last did. They were definitely sharing builds before we got here. NarsiL's done a pretty good job defending so far, but he cannot afford to let the ball drop now. He's got 2 Zealots here defending. There is a probe here as well, but the probe not really going to be too much help. But we definitely do need to see these Zealots go down. Looks like one of the Zealots is kind of trying to get the pylon, but it's behind the minerals. And yeah, this is a good defense so far, but NarsiL definitely needs to look at getting his gas soon. Because we've got gas coming up. We've got gas already mining. He's been mining for a very long time for Digda. Core is coming in as well. And pure Zealots against Dragoons is not something you want in a PvP. Especially on a 2-player map as well, where you're on the when you're on the high ground compared to your opponent's low ground base. But Gateway still not killed so far. Looks like NarsiL is getting ready to maybe expand behind this, which could be an interesting choice, but it's obviously going to be quite difficult to hold. But I think this is when we're going to see NarsiL go for a counter. Aeternum went for a counter a little bit too late in his game, in game number 2, so We should see that a little bit quicker. Interestingly, he's still building the Zealot. I'm not really sure I agree with this. He may as well just cancel it. Looks like he will lose that Zealot there, so that's something. Now NarsiL gonna head straight over the map. It's a lot of Zealots. We've got 6 here against 4. There is going to be 2 Dragoons coming in to shore this up, but with good micro, NarsiL can still make his way through here. We've got the core coming in. Gas is done as well. Now Digda, of course, did start mining his gas a lot sooner than he started building his cyber core, so he has a glutton of gas here, which essentially means that he's going to be able to go into his tech pretty quickly if he wants to. Probe going to scout that the Zealots are on the way. No Nexus coming up just yet from NarsiL. He's actually going to go into 3 gateways. So for the time being, it's going to be 3 gateways versus 2, but I definitely give the edge, at least army-wise, to Digda, given the fact he can micro back. Probe going to come out here and help as well. Looks like he's actually fished 2 probes. It's kind of like I'm watching the AI, when the AI that you attack a worker and they send all their workers on your worker. But he does take control of the high ground, and this means NarsiL is in a good position to be able to expand. This is going to be hard for Dragoons to get up this ramp. Like, there's a lot of Zealots up here at the top. He's going to need an awful lot of Dragoons to break up this here. This here hill is... I should have said this hill, but there we go, that's what I'm doing. Zealot's going to fall back. Looks like he is going to be taking a load of damage, but we will have 3 Dragoons at a time against the 2 of his opponent. No extra tech is coming in. So Digda's still sitting on his pile of gas here, not really sure what he wants to do with it. Robo coming in, so it is going to be ReV most likely coming up behind this. But it is possible he may go for an observatory just in case we would have seen a Templar Archives coming in from NarsiL. But NarsiL is going to try and go for a counter. Looks like he tried to bait the units in, and he's actually not in a terrible position to do so. Zealot's going to get on top of these Dragoons. Nice micro though by Digda so far, getting one of the Dragoons without losing any of his. And getting some free damage on the Zealots as well. NarsiL losing both of his Dragoons so far. And I think this is not looking too good for our hero in red here. But he is going to fall back to the safety of his 3 Dragoons. He needs to target fire properly here. If he doesn't target fire, he is going to be losing a lot of Dragoons for not too many. Zealot's getting one of the Dragoons here, but still missing out on one of the easy kills. Can he get the second one? Yes, he can. So it's going to be 3 Dragoons against 4 when his 3 Dragoons actually spawn, but cannot afford to lose this Dragoon on top of the ramp. Needs that back as far as possible before he goes in. Now, after this series, this is the last game of the first series, but we'll have iRk versus NaS. We've got the best team in Europe against the best team in North America. That should be a lot of fun. They'll be coming up after a break after this series, but it won't be a long break anyway. But looks like this game is kind of coming to a close here. Digda getting further and further ahead. NarsiL is going to be able to sit at the top of his ramp, be able to expand most likely, but he needs more Dragoons. He cannot afford to cut Dragoons to build a Nexus right now. Looks like the Dragoon finally going to kill the pylon, but this is many Dragoons versus not as many. Looks like Digda even thinking about expanding to a 3rd base down here in the bottom left, and maybe checking for a hidden base as well. But Natural coming up. The Robo is done. We've got the Observatory coming out, so he did go for Obs first, thinking his opponent might be going for DTs, but the Support Bay is done as well. And essentially, the longer this game goes on, the worse of a situation it becomes for NarsiL. It is still only 2 gates against 3, but when the Reavers start to come in, that is when the pain starts to come in as well. Okay, it looks like he has finally cleared out this pylon. Does have a decent number of Dragoons, but he is finding himself contained. Now obviously if Digda pushes in, it can make things a little bit more difficult, given he is going to be pushing into a concave. But he's got an observer, he knows exactly what his opponent's doing, he has absolutely nothing to worry about. There's still no additional tech here from NarsiL, and NarsiL is on a timer. If he can build enough Dragoons and push out and kill Digda before he can get Reavers over here, he may be able to do something. Nice pullback trying to kill those Zealots. Let's hide the supply for a minute. Nice target firing so far as well by both players, but obviously with more units, Digda definitely doing a little bit better in this engagement. More defending Dragoons are going to be coming up here. But I think this could be the final engagement of the game. I don't want to call it too early, but I don't see how... Wait, how is NarsiL going to win this engagement? Surely he's not going to win the engagement, right? No, so he loses the trade. He's going to be further behind in supply now, and Digda is going to start to rocket ahead. Back at home, we have the 3rd and 4th gateways being added on. The Reavers are, of course, done. Shuttle speed is coming in, going for 2 Reavers before a shuttle, actually. Just making sure that he doesn't get counter-pushed. It's 45 probes against 27. NarsiL is up against the Ringer here. And while it is mathematically possible for him to come back, there is a possibility in Brood War. It doesn't matter how far behind you are. All you need is 1 or 2 good engagements where your opponent messes up. But Digda is a damn good player. He's done well so far. He's taken pretty much the advantage in every engagement since the early defense. Like, NarsiL did an incredibly good job defending against the Zealots early on. But just really taking the initiative, coming back with some really, really nice Dragoon movement. Coming in here, this is going to pick up both the Dragoon, or both the Reavers even. He can actually just fly over to his opponent's base now. He's up to 5 gateways. He is going to be getting further and further ahead. He is up against 4 gateways now, but NarsiL doesn't have the economy to be able to support a ton of gateways still. Like, his probe count isn't that bad, but he's not fully saturated in both of his bases so far. He's close though. But Digda, of course, is going to be able to go for a 3rd base if he wants to. Look at how many units are coming across the map here. As I mentioned, if Digda flies his shuttle in and loses it to all these Dragoons, there's still a chance NarsiL can come back. But it's going to take a big misstep by Digda. Looks like the Reaver's going to drop out. They're going to waddle a little bit closer. Going to go for a couple of Scarab shots. Does need to pick up the Reavers. Like, he can't afford to let the Reavers die, but... yeah, there's just way too much blue here. Not enough red, and the red is slowly becoming blue as well. I mean, this is just a bit rough. How did this Reaver get all the way up there, though? That is one question I think we have for all the ages. But the pylon did eat a lot of damage there, but unfortunately, it's just not enough. The Reavers are going to get into a position where they can attack the probes. And you know the game is over when that happens. Like, the game is already done. GG, NarsiL taps out, and Digda wins game number 4. And there we go. We have the results here. It is a 4-0 victory for Wico. I think a lot of people expected this. Wico are number 2. ReV are currently bottom, or second bottom from last. So little bit of a power dynamic shift there. We had a lot of really risky builds coming out from ReV, and unfortunately they didn't play out. Aeternum, so VIR went for a Ling all-in on an island map, which was, well, a semi-island map, which is respectable. It takes a lot of guts to try and go for that kind of thing. Aeternum kind of got taken off guard by the proxy gateway. Hirmu unfortunately went for a Ling all-in but got held, so there wasn't really anything he could do there. NarsiL held the sort of proxy gateway by last, but didn't attack quick enough, by Digda even, didn't attack quick enough and find himself too far behind in tech to be able to come back. Now, that is going to be us for series number 1. We're going to be back with iRk versus NaS when we get back after this short break. The games we've got coming up are vOddy versus DragOn, Hawk versus dsaqwe, and Oya versus StRyKeR. It's going to be a good series. I'll see you guys in just a few minutes.
STP.
Okay guys, welcome back. We're going in to series number 2 here, starting us off over as our first team. It's going to be iRk, mainly a Swedish team, but we have a lot of players from all over the world playing for them now. They started obviously as the Swedish team, they branched out to Europe, and now they've got Americans and Russians playing for them as well. They are definitely one of the best clans, if not the best clan outside of South Korea. We've got vOddy, Hawk, Dewalt, and Hiya here. Going to be really, really insane to see these guys play. Dewalt, unfortunately, we're not going to see here today because his opponent fighting for NaS is Terra, and Terra didn't show up for his game for some reason. So there we go. We're going to miss out on Terra versus Dewalt, which is sad, but the other matchups we've got are going to be really good anyway. We've got DragOn, dsaqwe, and StRyKeR. Obviously, NaS primarily being a North American team, but they've got dsaqwe from Croatia in there as well. Now, the lineups we're going to see today, starting us off, is going to be a PvT between vOddy and DragOn. vOddy, one of the best Terran players on iRk, has been doing really well recently. DragOn, of course, one of the best Protoss players outside of South Korea. Hawk against dsaqwe should be good. I've not really seen Hawk play too much recently, but Hawk definitely one of the more better known sort of North American players. dsaqwe, I don't know this for sure, but I think he's the best player in Croatia, just because I can't think of any other Croatian Brood War players. We've got, obviously, Dewalt and Terra was a walkover in favor of Dewalt, so iRk will be starting with a 1-0 lead. We've got Hiya versus StRyKeR as well. That should be a really cool PvZ. Attack, Croatian as well. Okay, well, there we go. But let's have a look at our first two players here. Starting us off is going to be vOddy. He's got a 42% win rate overall in the STPL, but he's got a 100% win rate over 4 games against Protoss. He's been doing very well recently. Obviously he's gone 6-4 or 4-6 recently, but he's been up against some incredibly good players, and he's mostly been playing TvT. But given the fact that the 4 TvPs he's played is 1, I would say he's in a pretty good spot. His opponent, of course, going to be DragOn, one of the best players in the STPL overall. He's got a 72% win rate overall and a 63% win rate over Terran over 14 games. vOddy is going to be up against it here. Now, obviously, looking towards what's going on, we are going to have our game on Rosen Bridge. Rosen Bridge, definitely the weirdest of our maps here in STPL. Probably the weirdest map you'll ever see in a Brood War tournament. It's a semi-island, semi-main map. I think if we bring this back again, we might make it like island spawns only and see how that goes. But we've had some really good games here. Protoss versus Terran is actually 3 for 2. There hasn't really been any really crazy games in PvT, so I'm hoping we might get one now as we get into its game number 1, vOddy versus DragOn, here on Rosen Bridge. Okay, starting us off here in the top right-hand corner on the island, it's going to be DragOn fighting from Canada for NaS. I just noticed something weird with my overlay. I don't know if it's the color. I guess it's the color I've picked for dragons, so let's just quickly update. There we go, that's a bit better. And his opponent spawning down here on the other island. It's island versus island in a TvP here from Sweden. It's vOddy in the blue. Now vOddy has actually got a little bit of an advantage here where it is blue versus yellow, so he's got the Swedish flag going for him. I have to see if that makes any difference to the outcome of the game. We've got two titans of their respective matchups going up against each other, at least STPL statistics wise, so kind of cool to see how this is going to go. Now, vOddy, interestingly enough, is going to build his barracks as far away from his main as possible. He wants to use this to try and scout the mainland. So he's going to kind of play this like it's TvT. Not really going to have any marines. He's just going to fly his barracks away immediately, most likely. Now, just while we're getting into this, what would people feel if I was to put Sparkle in the map pool? How would people feel about a pure island map? I know TT1 and Avilov wanted me to put Sparkle in over and over again, and they wouldn't shut up about it. And I was like, Sparkle will lead to too long games. But then I've got basically an island map in this season, and the games on it aren't that long. The longer games are on a normal 2-player map that's relatively standard. Like, it doesn't make any sense. And like, Inner Coven didn't really have a big difference either. Fakefin saying that Sparkle would be better than Rosen Bridge. Hit him up saying the same thing. But if we were to make Rosen Bridge essentially just the island spawns, so you spawn top left, bottom right, how about that? Because that's another option we've got. Turn it into a 2-player map rather than a 4-player map. So I don't think there's any way of forcing spawns to be like ground or island. Unless there is. Okay, so Dragon did go for a Nexus first here. Looks like vOddy gonna land his barracks here and build a marine to go for another. Well, he's probably gonna scout with this. Factory floating out into the middle as well. So no, there's no way he floats his factory into the middle of the map, does he? Okay, vOddy is playing this really strange. He's not going for a CC first for some reason. Yeah, Eriador kind of agreeing with me in the fact, well, I don't know if it's agreeing with me, but Eriador saying if you force it to be island versus island or land versus land, they're both fine options. I'll speak to Goswami after this season and see what he wants to do. Because I do want to bring some of the maps back again. I won't probably bring all of them back, because I want to give players more maps that they're more familiar with. But keeping some of the new maps and keeping them as like STPL mainstays is something I kind of want to do, if I can. Because I know one of the people's big problems with coming into this season was that they don't know the maps. But if they know the maps, which they do now, because they've had a chance to play them for a season, then maybe it won't be a problem. Yeah, weird and new maps are part of the brand, that is a fair point, but I maybe went a little bit overboard this time. Okay, so we've got a drop coming in from vOddy. vOddy is going to know his opponent is on the other island now, so this is going to give him not too much of an advantage, because he was going to fly over the dropship anyway, but we've got double Dragoons coming out here for Dragon. Double Dragoons from double Dragon. That doesn't work. Thing is, Rheinmetall, you say they should have expected it and prepared for it. That's a fair point, but given the fact the prize pool for STPL isn't that big, for an individual player, and given the fact that Seoul are quite dominant, a lot of people don't think they have a chance to win, and why are they going to waste their time preparing for maps for a tournament they may not get any money from? Thing is, like, having weird maps is fine as long as I think I keep them around a little bit longer so people get used to them. Okay, we've got the dropship coming in. He actually drops his vultures off on the low ground, or on the low ground. Okay, he's going to send one of his vultures in. He does have speed, no mines just yet. So, interesting that he's choosing to go for vulture speed before mines here. Usually when you're dropping, you're going to go for mines first, but there is an observer out anyway. One probe down. Can he get a second one? Yes, he can. 2 probes, 3 probes, 4 probes. No, no 4. Vulture's going to get a little bit caught off guard there. That's an overall a very successful defense by DragOn. It does give vOddy a little bit of a worker advantage. He does have his second command center as well, going for scans. He did get a good scout of the base, not only with his barracks, but as well as the vultures. So I would put both players kind of even at the moment. So Unlucky Noob saying they only killed 3. Apparently I need to watch Sesame Street again. The count is very stop the count. The count is very very upset with me. But we've got a second dropship coming in. Did he save his other dropship? Yes, he did, and he's dropping 2 tanks this time. Okay, now this is not going to be well fated here. We've got Dragoons coming down to try and block any additional drop attempts coming in. And he needs to fly away with this because he cannot afford to lose 2 tanks. Cannot afford to lose them. Oh, I get it. Because I was saying, can he get 4? And then he didn't. Yeah, they did get away, so that's a pretty good moment. We do have observers coming in from 2 separate angles. He is going to get a perfect vision over everything that vOddy is doing over here. Now, you know what? I think I want to make this an island versus island map. I think I'm going to do that for Season 5. Because I do want to use this map again, because I think it's led to some really fun games. It's just that I do agree that island versus land has been a little bit one-sided, and the thing is, I know that Eriador is saying it's imbalanced towards the player on the land, but I've seen the same thing happen the opposite way. Like, when it's island versus land, it seems to be one-sided depending on who's playing and what race they're playing as well. But island versus... Oh, nice kills on the observers. Building 2 wraiths as well is going to help against any possible shuttles. Yeah, I think island versus island on this map could be fun. Like, I mean, we've already got a couple of good island versus island games so far. The trouble is, the ground versus ground games are good as well. So it's a little bit unfortunate, but we've got 3 dropships coming in across the map here. There's going to be a very drop-heavy game. 2 additional observers coming out next to each other. And a 3rd observer actually going to be the one to catch these dropships. Does he see them? No, he doesn't. Yes, he does. Okay. I thought the dropships were going to go up the top, but he shows himself off. Yeah, Eriador saying if you play on UMS, it's possible that he thinks it's possible to make it land versus land or island versus island. But the trouble then I have is forcing people to play it on UMS. And I don't think they're going to do that. People complained enough about making them pick top versus bottom. They're not going to want to pick UMS, but here we go. Looks like, oh my god, the mine, the mine, the mine, the mine! Ah! Okay, that could have gone a lot worse for our Protoss player there, but vOddy coming in, doing a little bit of damage with his drop and getting away without taking too much damage. And he is coming straight back in. No, he's not. He's going to stop. Never mind. Ignore everything I just said. The Hive, this SCV, in about 1,000 years will be able to kill this and expand, but for now, he's just going to continue attacking it. Yeah, I got a lot of backlash from saying to people pick top versus bottom, and I don't know why. It's literally like a button you press when you host the game. It's not a really big deal at all. Like, all games in Brood War should be top versus bottom if they're going to be casted. Unless you manually pick the colors, but then people don't want to do that, so... Okay, we've got another big drop coming in. This time it's going to be Goliaths and tanks rather than tanks and vultures. Now, Goliath tank is a much better dropping force. Another observer going down to Wraiths here. Nicely cleaned up. vOddy doing a very good job. How many observers has he killed now? 3. I thought it was more than that, but it's only 3. But still, that's 3 more than normal, so that's good. He's going to fly. DragOn's observer usage has been pretty good here. He's going to get away with scouting another drop. You can see all of the Dragoons heading in. vOddy did scan ahead, so he scanned the main, interestingly enough. He sees the fact there's double robo. I really think that going for mass wraith here would actually not be too bad for vOddy, just to kill the shuttles. Yeah, island versus island I think could be really interesting if it goes super long game. Wouldn't it be 2/3 of the time, Eriador? If that was... No, it'd be 2/4 of the time. Wait. Half of the time. I don't know how statistics works, ignore me. But DragOn dropping his units off in here. The tank dropping into Reaver fire. Not where you want to be dropping. The tank's going to be struggling against the Reavers. He's actually having to push back into his own base. And while this is going on, the shuttle's going to go down into the main here. vOddy's SCVs are completely undefended. That he's going to fall back here. But this is going to be a lot of... Oh my goodness, that was such a big scarab. Oh my god, that was horrible. That was horrible to watch. And oh no, 13 kill Reaver, 9 kill Reaver, 14 kills. Oh, it's disgusting. Oh, and he's going to get another one. Oh, vOddy is falling apart here, taking so much damage. He is still on an island, but he's now down nearly 40 workers after that engagement. He does have 4 bases. If he can build SCVs off of all of them, he's going to be in a good spot. He's got a lot of tanks still. They are in dropships. And he is going to have a big dropping force. But where is he going to drop? DragOn's defense is looking pretty airtight no matter where he is. Okay, so FakeFin explains it. 50% land spawn times by 2/3 the opponent on island. So, but yeah, we've got triple robo here, playing this like a true island player should. Going for arbiters would be pretty good here as well, but DragOn going for the Polish recall style rather than wasting his time going for arbiters. The reason why the Polish recall style is so damn good... Oh, it's 4 robos. Has he just added one? Yeah, he did. The reason why Polish recall is so damn good is because it can get EMP'd, but when you get EMP'd, it doesn't end the game. Like, you can still drop. But looks like the 4th base is going to get taken down. We've got vOddy not really too sure what to do with his units. He's going to go for a push here, bringing up some of his tanks. That's going to help out a little bit, but he doesn't have many units back in defense. Let's see what's going to happen here. We've obviously got a lot of... Oh my god, this isn't going to work. Okay, he's going to be able to take out this Nexus here in the bottom right, but he is going to take a lot of damage to make this happen. Looks like he did manage to hold on with his tanks. The command center did survive. But he is not going to be able to find any way into any damage. Wraith getting another kill. I think that's the 5th observer he's got with Wraith so far. And these 2 tanks have actually run up and died. So that's not the best way to defend your base, but that's unfortunate. DragOn still on 4 bases. He's only up 20 workers now, so vOddy has done a pretty good job rebuilding those. And now remember, guys, Terra did not show up for his game, so NaS are playing at a 1-0 disadvantage already. So it's going to be very important for DragOn to win this game. iRk, of course, an incredibly strong team as well. And is he going to see this observer with the Wraith? He doesn't. Okay, so he wasn't looking at the Wraith at that exact moment. But we've got a big drop coming down here. The dropships, though, they're not going home. They need to go home faster than this. There's not that much back here to defend. There's a single tank defending this base. And the Polish recalls just keep coming in. And looks like the Reaver's going to drop off once again. There's barely any defense back at home. The 4th base lifted. Goliath's coming in here, but he needs to drop. I think he needs to counter drop this, but I guess he's just going to sit with the fact that he's still got his command center. But is he going to be able to hold on to his 3rd base? The dropship's in the middle of the map, not really sure where to go. He's trying to find damage. He's trying to find a way in. He has to drop here, I guess. But he's just getting spotted every single time. Now the third base is in shambles. The fourth base is gone. Tanks walking into Reavers. Luckily enough, he does manage to clear that up. But here we go. Looks like the tank's going to drop off down here. But there's not enough room to actually drop all of his units. So he's only going to be dropping some of them. The dropship's going to be under fire here. Now this is a very difficult position for Protoss to be able to counter drop. So that is one benefit. The dropships are going to get away. And the fourth base is going to go down. So this game is far from over. But the third base is still in so much trouble down here. Another shuttle kind of giving itself up for the good of Aya. But how does vOddy push this base? How does vOddy save his bases? That is the question we all have. And the question he seems to be struggling to find an answer to. DragOn expanding to the top left-hand corner. Looks like he's going to hold on to his third base again. But a ReV heading on into the main here. There's not many SCVs up here at least. But they need to run away very, very soon. One does go down to the ReV. Goliath's coming back into the main to hold off. And can he catch this? No, he can't. He's got oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, my God. Another massive ReV Scarab. His ReV Scarabs have been so good this game so far. Now, this drop is still down here. If he can slow push this base with his tanks, he can do it. Scan going down on the top left-hand base. He knows where his opponent is expanding to. And will he actually... I think that, yeah, he'll see the shuttle come up as well. I don't know whether he would have been looking there at that exact moment, but he should know there's going to be another shuttle heading up to the top left. He is going to be picking up his units from his main, going up to try and stop DragOn expanding again. Now, how is vOddy going to play this out? Is he going to go to try and kill his opponent, or is he going to try and starve his opponent on the island? It looks like he's going to try and starve him on 3 bases. The dropship's going to be heading up to the left-hand corner. But once again, as soon as vOddy leaves his base, DragOn is going in. vOddy needs these units at home to defend, and he's not got them. Oh, looks like he's going to be dropping them off for the first time in a good defensive position. One of the dropship, or one of the Goliaths, not Goliaths, one of the shuttles has gone down. ReV dropping again. Oh no! So much damage! 8 kills! 8 kills on the ReV. Goliaths, oh sorry, Dragoons dropping off in the main base. They're going to go down. Okay, vOddy is in a good position now. He's down in supply. He's not got as much money, but he has a lot more mobility now. Every time these drops have come in, DragOn's been losing his shuttles, so he is having to build them off of 4 robos over and over again. Upgrade-wise, we've got 111, so he's actually gone for shields as well. And then we have 1-0, so no 2-1 just yet. That is incredibly late here for vOddy. But I definitely give vOddy the edge here, at least positionally. It looks like DragOn wants to secure the bottom right now, so he is sending all of his units down here. Storm is going to be a very strong tool in taking out this position, but can vOddy trade well enough? Or are we going to see a comeback here? Well, not really a comeback because DragOn's technically still ahead, but you know what I mean. Now it looks like he is going to come in here with, oh my goodness, even dropping Zealots on top of this is going to be doing so much splash damage. Zealot's so strong. High Templar here, not even going to storm, he's just going to walk up. These tanks get killed immediately. I thought they would last a little bit longer than that. But there is a DT here, DT getting taken down. A lot of units being counter-dropped up here in the top middle, or the top left-hand corner even. Goliath's going to help try and hold on to this. If he can target down the shuttles, he is going to be able to take down the base, but more units coming out. Storm on top of the siege tanks. That is definitely what he looks, or what he wants to do. But looks like this base is going to go down. Storm on top of the Goliaths as well, though. That is going to buy time. Another DT coming out here. He's so annoying with those, like, dastardly, blasted, sort of, what do you call it? Panic DTs, I guess I used to call them. But looks like vOddy is slowly, like, starting to break the bottom or the top left-hand corner. He's taking an expansion here himself. DragOn has loaded up his units. He's coming in for another push. He's got 6 shuttles already. He's adding on another 4 at a time. And he is going to go for the jugular here. He's going to go for the production of vOddy. Now, is vOddy going to be able to defend against this? Is he going to be able to scan that this is coming? Looks like he's dropped a couple of extra units up at the top. We've got some scans coming in from vOddy. Doesn't see the shuttles, doesn't see the units. So he should know that something's up here. Going for some kills here. Tank sieging up a little bit too late. Storm on the high ground. We now have DragOn controlling vOddy's high ground next to his factories. vOddy is in a lot of trouble. He's going to pick up his units from the low ground. He's going to fly them into his main. Science Facility going to go down. Armory going to go down before +2 has started. But he needs to... Oh, he doesn't even start +2 before the Science Facility dies. I think this could be game. I mean, it's still not over. Another brilliant storm here on those back tanks. But 1-1 is done. No Science Facility is done. The armory is about to burn down. And DragOn just keeps building. He keeps going. vOddy, of course, going for his 4th or 5th base even. Gonna be able to get his 4th gas. And he does secure his main again. But DragOn's still in a good position. Now, DragOn's problem is he's mined out of his main. He's mined out of his natural. His 3rd is very close to mining out as well, over halfway done. And his 4th base is the only really remaining healthy base he's got. So if DragOn cannot secure this bottom right hand location or this top middle, DragOn is going to mine out. Yeah, Ariador pointing out as well, something that I should have said, but basically on islands, Terran usually does better when it's shuttles versus gateway units, just because shuttles can only drop 2 units essentially. But when they go against carriers, it's when Terran starts to struggle, because they can't get the Goliaths in position. It looks like we are going to have more shuttles coming down here. He is going to try and defend with these units. We've got dropships taken over the top left-hand corner. We've got probes attacking the command center. A lot of missile turrets being added on as well. Tanks spread really nicely to help defend this base. Now, if vOddy can drop his units on top of here, it is going to be so hard for DragOn to take that position. But vOddy's starting to dry out as well. His 3rd base a little bit healthier. 4th base a little bit healthier as well, because he did expand later and did lose a ton of SCVs. But I definitely, even though he's down in supply, I'd say vOddy has an advantage. Now, we don't have a big carrier switch or anything like that coming in from DragOn yet. He's still not in a good position economically to do that. But it looks like DragOn has kind of got enough units that he feels he can defend his base with, so he's going to send his shuttles to go for an attack. I don't think this is a very well fated attack here, but he does have a lot of units and he does have a lot of shuttles. But here we go, the tanks on the high ground. No units on the high ground to defend this. Storm coming in though. Storm is going to be good. Looks like the shuttle's coming in. Goliath at the front. He's actually dropping all of his units at the front of the base rather than going into the main. Units on the high ground getting cleaned up, so DragOn is going to be able to secure his base in the bottom right. And he's actually going to be able to take down vOddy's top left-hand base. vOddy cannot defend this. He's not got enough units. The dropship's going to come back in here. But there's so much there's so many Terran units. GG. vOddy taps out. I don't know why he tapped out in that situation, but maybe he thought he was further behind than he actually was. But GG, well played by DragOn. That is going to be the end of game 1 in this series. We're going to be going into game number 2. It's dsaqwe versus Hawk when we get back after this break.
Gentlemen, start your engines. Welcome to Victory Lane. You made it.
Okay guys, welcome back. We're heading into set 2 between iRk and Ash after an explosive TvP on island version of Rosen Bridge. We do have, starting us off in the top left hand corner, fighting for NaS in the pink, it's dsaqwe. From Croatia, if you don't know what that flag is. And his opponent spawning up here in the top right hand corner from the United States of America. Fighting as our red Zerg, it's Hawk for iRk. Now it's going to be a ZvP. Interesting statistic about ZvP on this map. Our average game duration for it is around 13 minutes. But I've kind of found that if the game lasts, well, if the game gets past or into the mid game, it's very likely to go the long way. We've had a lot of long games on this map. Now, dsaqwe has played on this map before. He is 0-1, whereas Hawk has not played in the STPL in... How long has this been? So that's been a year and 6 months? No, not 6 months. A year and 3 months. So 15 months ago, Hawk was playing all the way back in Season 2. He played on Whiteout against Tech and Cross. He went 1-1. His only... Well, he has actually... Yeah, his only ZvP he won. So that was a long, long time ago. We've got a spawning pool coming in first here by Hawk. That wasn't an overpool, of course. With the second overlord spawning there. Hawk doing a pretty good job. Pushing away the probe. That's going to allow him to take his expansion when he wants to. Just stopping the probe being as annoying as possible. Obviously, dsaqwe wants to try and block the hatchery if he can. But Hawk should have time now to put this up. Looks like that's getting in position, and there we go. Probe obviously taking a little bit of health damage as well. And that means the Ling should be able to clean that up a little bit sooner. Now, dsaqwe went for a forge into a nexus here. We should have a cannon coming up. Given the fact he knows there's an overpool. Overpool isn't all in, but of course you do get Lings quite fast still. So you need at least one cannon. We have seen games where Protoss players don't get their cannon fast enough, and they die an incredibly fast and evil death, but we've also seen a lot of Hydra busts on this map as well. Red versus Magenta is actually a really nice color set to watch. I also like, okay, so I'm a little bit biased, but I don't know if this is true, but I swear back in OSL they always had red versus yellow. Am I imagining that? I'm sure it used to be red versus yellow on either, it was either MSL or OSL. I'm sure it was red versus yellow, and red versus yellow always looks really sick. Like, one of the other things is ASL have, I think, a modified client of the game, because when you look at the player names in the lobby, they don't match up with the player names in the actual game, and I have no idea how they do it. It must be like a modified game client or something. Maybe Blizzard Korea supplied it to them. But like, when you see the players... so, okay, there's kind of an even bigger mystery. When you look at the player names in the lobby, it looks fine until they start typing, and then you see the actual account names they're playing as, and they're never their actual names, ever. I've never seen it happen. If we could get that for STPL, it'd be really sick, because we wouldn't have to worry about making people play on their clan tags, and they could just play as whatever account they wanted. But we're not a multi-million-dollar corporation, so that's a little bit harder for us to get. While we're talking about corporations, I guess they're not really a corporation. A massive shout out to two of our sponsors, Matrino and Esport Fund. Esport Fund, of course, one of the most important players in the Brood War and the Warcraft 3 community. They've hosted so many tournaments, they've given so much money away, and obviously Eriador, who was in chat before, I don't know if he's still there, is one of their funding committee, so he chooses where that money goes. So if you want me to slip you some money so you can slip some money my way, Eriador, let's make it happen. But of course, just recently in 2019 they hosted the Corrupted Cup and then did the Russian Cyber Games in 2020, which of course was online, but still that was a pretty amazing tournament. A third hatchery coming in from Hawk. Hawk is a very macro-orientated player, so he is already going for his lair, going for his spire as well, so we're not going to see a Hydra Bust from him. And dsaqwe is kind of macro-orientated as well, so I don't think we're going to see like a counter all-in from him, going for a fairly standard Stargate into Citadel build, into another 2 gateways. Apparently Russian Cyber Games will happen in 2021, confirmed. It's probably going to be online again, but kind of cool. And I do apologize for not showing the Cheerfuls off this season. I kept going to remake the Cheerful video, and I've still not got anything that I'm happy with. I'll try and get something ready for the playoffs, and I'll just play them all. But if I don't get to use them, they're generically branded, so I can use them next season as well. Thank you, of course, to Lucky Noob for making them all, essentially. We've got Muteless coming in here. Going for Muteless is not something a lot of Zerg players do in ZvP, but Hawk definitely going to be making use of this gap behind the minerals. This is going to help him get some free kills on those probes. 1 probe, 2 probes. So I think there was 2 probes there. There's going to be 3, going to be 4, going to be 5, going to be 6. Going to go for the cannon in the main as well, and things are going from bad to worse here for dsaqwe. He doesn't even have a single or he does have a Corsair, but it's not back at home, so the Mutalisks are doing a lot of damage. Oh my god, has he even got enough Mutalisks to just kill the Corsairs? I'm not sure I really agree with this. I don't think this is working as well as he was maybe hoping, but the Scourge coming in behind this, there's no Stargate coming in, or there's no Corsair. The Corsair only just now starting up, but more and more probes falling. 26 drones to 20 probes means the Mutalisks are in an incredibly good position at the moment, and so is Hawk. Lucky Noob saying, all good, I have a dry spell at the moment. Mindflayer asks what a dry spell is. A dry spell in English? Oh, we've got Zealots coming in though for a counter. Just before I don't talk about the game, Zealots running in. There's not that much ground defense here, so these Zealots could do a lot of damage, but the Muteless coming back just in time should be able to help defend this. But how many probes, how many drones even are going to go down here? We've already lost 4 or 5. We've lost 7, we've lost 8, we've lost 9, we've lost 10. 11 drones going down. Is this going to be 12? 12 drones falling. Is this going to be 13? 13 it is. Lucky number 13. And Hawk's economy is all of a sudden in a lot of trouble. But just while we wait for sort of stuff to happen now, a dry spell is a period, or in English, it's a period of weather where it's not wet. So it's a dry spell of weather, essentially. But it's used as an expression to mean essentially like a period where nothing's happening. Like Lucky Noob has kind of got creator's block, I think, because he's kind of run out of ideas. I know that feeling. But here we go. Looks like the Mew is going to come back in, trying to get some more kills, but of course there is a lot more Corsairs here now. There is a double cannon setup as well, which means these Mutalists have to be a little bit more careful than they were in the first time. He could actually go for the Stargate here, which would be pretty good, but looks like he wants to go for the Corsairs if he can. The Scourge chasing them. Not going to be able to get them, but is going to get the cannon. And this is a very scrappy ZvP. We have a lot of probes going down again. We've got a lot of drones died on the other side. But are the Corsairs going to be enough to hold on to this? Looks like we do only have 6 Mutalisks, so the 4 Corsairs he's now got should be fine. But more zealots going to come in here. There is a sunken though, and some lings. So these zealots shouldn't do anything. He's going to turn around immediately. But more and more mules have been bought here. So that means he is going to be able to clean this up absolutely no problem. Honestly, he's chasing this zealot, but he may as well just leave it. It's so low on health. We've got a 4th hatchery up here now. 5th hatchery, nowhere to be seen so far. Hawk using a lot of his time and energy building drones at the moment to try and remake the ones that he's lost. Now he does have more workers than his opponent. He's up supply as well, which means Hawk is pretty much in a very good position for a ZvP. Now we've got 6 Corsairs here. This is going to mean this is going to be better, but 2 going down to Scourge immediately. A little bit of a miss micro there by dsaqwe. He's going to force the Muteless away, but that's a lot of damage to be taking when you're already behind. And he's only on 3 gate at the moment. 3 gate doesn't give you the option of going for a big attack. It doesn't allow you to build up for a big army. Like, if you're going for, at this stage in the game, you should be up at like nearly 6 gateways. But his economy has been impacted so much, he just can't afford it. And that's part of the reason why we don't have the 6 hatcheries yet for Hawk either. Looks like the Corsairs, they don't even have +1, and they don't even have +1 attack, so this is such a weird PvZ. Looks like the cannon getting one of the Muteless here, that's a little bit of a bonus. Scourge going after all of the Corsair, not able to do it, does pick off 2 of the Scourge, or 1 of the Scourge. He needs to focus fire the Scourge down though. If he can do that, he can go after the Muteless. It looks like he's pulling back again. 2 Scourge getting taken out by the cannon. Another one not going to get taken down, but they're attacking the Muteless instead. So many Scourge here. No connections being had, but this is definitely not looking too bad now for dsaqwe. DragOn won against vOddy, which is why NaS are up 1-0 at the moment. This is game 2 of the series, yes. Also, the amount of questions you're asking there and finishing with "Did Lucky beat his dry spell?" It sounds like one of those TV shows where it's like, "Did he do this? Find out next week on something." Like one of those next episode previews, kind of. We've got a 4th base coming up here for Hawk. This is with his 6th hatchery. Yep, 7th hatchery coming up as well. No hive on the way yet, but we do have Overlord speed finally coming in. It's a little bit late, but he's going for his Hydras now as well. Yeah, we need to so Hatray Phil said in chat we need cliffhangers, so stop the STPL broadcast 8 minutes into a game. That'd be a really interesting way of casting. I don't think I'd be able to do that. But I could do those like super dramatic, like American style like things where they show you. I really hate those, right? In American shows especially, literally the next episode preview just shows you the whole episode. And they usually show it just before the next episode airs as well and stuff like that. It's really annoying. Like, coming up next week, or like, oh no, that's it. Especially on reality shows, they always do like coming up this week or something, like coming up in this episode or coming up after the break. And they show the whole thing. Like, just show the whole show. Like, what the hell? Yeah, and it's not reality shows in America. It's like very highly dramatized reality shows, but there we go. More Muteless coming in. They get a couple of probes, but not without taking some Muteless damage. I think Gordon Ramsay's Kitchen Nightmares and Hell's Kitchen is the worst example of that. Because when you look at his English versions, they're so real. Like, they're so good. Because Gordon Ramsay actually wants them to do well. And he wants to fix their restaurants. And they want to help, or they want him to help them. So, and then the American one, like, the people they get on Hell's Kitchen can't cook. Or they're playing up that they can't cook. They're all completely useless. And then in, like, Ramsay's Kitchen Nightmares, they basically find restaurants that have absolutely zero chance of ever succeeding. The people are absolutely insane. They can't cook. And it's just him getting angry for like 2 hours. I still enjoy watching them because it's funny watching Gordon Ramsay get angry even if it is fake. But genuinely, if you like Gordon Ramsay and his American shows, watch the UK shows because they are so much better. And he's genuinely a really... Like, Gordon Ramsay is an insanely nice guy, and you know he knows what he's talking about. Like, he is such a helpful dude. But looks like we are going to have some Hydras coming in here. There isn't actually that much out here for dsaqwe, so he isn't going to be able to sort of push out for the time being. He does storm. We've got the Corsairs coming into the main base, though, getting a couple of Overlords. Yeah, everyone knows Zeus's, or everyone knows Jesus' dad is Zeus. He's everyone's dad, man. Zeus was fucking. He was fucking before everyone else, man. And that's probably one of the first times I've actually sworn on broadcast. I shouldn't have done that. Oh well, it's fine. Everyone who's playing Brood War is over 18, right? Like, I don't think there's anyone under 18 playing Brood War anymore. But looks like we are going to have Hawk pull back here. Hawk is going for a lot of Hydras, but he is just kind of defending back at home now. We've got an 8th hatchery coming in. The Corsairs did their damage, but Hawk has already bounced back from that. Now, dsaqwe is going to be able to take his 3rd base. It's very easy for Protoss to take a 3rd base against Zerg here, but getting the 4th is the problem. Now, we've got a DT drop getting ready to try and get into the main base, but looks like Hydra's already in position to stop this. Pinkfin saying apparently there's a 14-year-old in CPL. That's pretty impressive. It's kind of cool as well that there's still younger people who have an interest in Brood War. But by 14, you already know the worst swear words anyway. Like, you essentially learn the you learn all the bad swear words when you're in like the primary school or elementary school in America. Like, you learn them all on the playground from your parents anyway. Okay, it looks like the Corsairs and the... Oh my god, is this going to be an overlord? Oh yes, he is. He's going to try and drop Lurkers in the main. Can he kill before the Lurkers drop? It looks like he's going to be able to. He's so close, but they're going to drop in. Oh my goodness, the Lurkers get in the base. The Hydra's getting the base as well. And we've got another push coming up here. We've got a Lurker Spine coming in from the natural. We've got a Lurker... Well, we've got Lurkers pushing towards the main base here. And there is an observer here, but the Lurkers are going completely uncontested. The Lurker at the natural has obviously been cleaned up. Hydra's at the front getting cleaned up as well. But with Lurkers in the main, this is going to be kind of annoying. Okay, it looks like the Lurker's getting it cleaned up in the main base. Losing, was that the Citadel that went down? No. What building was this, guys? Was that the core? Was that the Cybernetics core? Did he just lose the Cybernetics core? I think he... No. Oh, that was the observatory. Okay, that's annoying. That is really annoying when your opponent's Lurker dropping you. But we do have... Okay, we had a drop and I think I missed it. Or it got cleaned up. Oh, it got cleaned up immediately. Yeah, 2 kills on this Hydra. Okay, 3rd base secured now. Natural and main secured as well. But drops are definitely going to be something that dsaqwe needs to worry about, because Hawk has shown he can use them. Looks like a DT did try and go down to try and go for a base down here. Didn't quite get it. Zealot is going to be able to stop this base coming up though. Another push coming in from Hawk. He doesn't want to quit attacking. I mean, he is nearly maxed out, so he may as well. But this is definitely not going to go well. He's just kind of gifting units. Now he's coming in from multiple angles. A lot of the units got taken down at the top. dsaqwe moving all of his units in one go. So that means if Hawk comes in at the right angle, he can make something happen here. Sorry. Bless me. Oh, this is one of those annoying sneezes where I'm going to be sneezing for the next like 20 minutes now. Oh no. Okay, let's hope I can use that like pressure point to stop myself sneezing. By the way, guys, if you want people to stop saying free the dodal, if you want the dodal to be freed, help out by donating on Matcherino. If we get the $2,000 prize pool goal for this season, I will free the dodal. We are currently like $1,400 almost, so we're not that far off. There's about 6 weeks left of the season. We've got another drop coming in here to the natural. He's going to drop 4 Hydras here, which will take out the cannon pretty quickly. But no, he's going to lose the Overlord. One of the Hydras comes out somehow. Looks like the base down here is going to get saved. There is a Dark Templar coming down here, which should be able to finish it off. Okay, we've got a 4th base coming in from dsaqwe. He's going to expand closer to his opponent. Looks like this DT doing this damn good job trying to hold on, but does get taken down. How long is the range of the Overlord? That is the question I have, but seems pretty high. Okay, looks like Hydra's going to come in here trying to stop dsaqwe from being able to push down. Because if he stops him pushing down, he knows that he's not going to be able to expand. Hawk coming into the 12 o'clock position as well. Going to try and block his opponent from expanding, but still doing a very, very good job here is dsaqwe. The trouble is, again, though, dsaqwe, when he moves his army, doesn't just move one group of units to deal with a small group of units. He moves everything. And that means his other bases are vulnerable. Like, if Hawk had a way to see this happening, I think he would have pushed up the ramp there. And that would have been very difficult for dsaqwe to be able to deal with. Now, obviously, the hatchery is done down here in the bottom right, so Hawk is now on 5 bases for gas. 4th gas hasn't come in yet. We've got the hive done. Queen's nest is done, but I don't think we're going to see any queens coming in. No defiler mound yet, though. So what is the hive tech being used for? Okay, so the defiler mound finally coming up. And the dodal is actually locked in my old jail cell that I used to live in. The truth is, I never stopped renting out that place. My god, if I could afford to rent 2 places, I would be rich. Well, I wouldn't be rich, actually. I'd just be throwing more money away. But I would, like, if I could afford to rent 2 places, I'd put the money that would have gone for the second rent into my savings. And I'd be, like, rolling in money right now. That'd be so good. Okay, a single lurker getting a single dragoon. Not often you get to see that, but Storm, kind of a weird position to Storm there, but he is going to be fighting on top of the STPL logo here. Nice Storms at the bottom side, but once again, dsaqwe sending all of his army, but his army getting kind of splintered on the ramps here. If I had a lot of money, I would buy more of my house. Like, I am so jealous that I didn't jump on the GameStop train. Like, I've never traded stocks. I'm probably too scared to trade stocks as well. But I was working out, if I could have bought GameStop when they were $5 a share, and I bought 200 shares, I'd be up like 80... Wait, was it 200 shares or was it 100 shares? It was 20 shares. It was 20 shares. I would be up like $8,000. Like, I am so jealous that I didn't jump on that train. But looks like we are going to have a drop coming in. Lurkers on the mineral line here. Going to be doing a lot of damage. dsaqwe's units getting caught on the high ground. He does manage to save most of his probes at the base. And the trades kind of evenly. But somehow he gets his shuttle out through all of these units. So that's something. Yeah, taking risks is obviously not always a guaranteed thing, but with gambling, the one thing you have to remember, and with like Bitcoin and stuff like that, and stock trading, is never put money in that you can't afford to lose. Like, essentially when you're gambling, you're expecting to lose, and if you win, you win, right? That's how gambling works unless you're mega rich. But if you're going into the point where you're putting in money you can't afford to lose, then that's when you've messed up. Yeah, that's essentially what the funds do. But like the funds shorting, oh my god, the shorting of stock of GameStop is ridiculous. But let's not go into that. I don't really understand it properly, but basically I wish I'd have bought into GameStop, or GameStop even. But here we go, we do have 3 Zealots coming down here to the 6 o'clock base. dsaqwe has finally broken his way out of his base, so he is going to be able to get a position on the bottom of the ramp of Hawk here, and that's going to free up this base down here for attack, free up the bottom right as well. And the storms have been pretty good. But while he's doing this, dsaqwe still has a lot of... Hawk still has only units in the middle of the map. And he could actually go for a counter, but he's not. I should probably add like an add quote command, but I don't know how that works. It looks like the Archon going to get into position to be able to take out all of these drones, doing a lot of damage. 3-1 upgrades for our Protoss to 3-2. Nice storm there. And these drones in this base is going to go down, but we do have some catch-up all over the top of dsaqwe's army, meaning obviously with Protoss. They struggle a lot against Plague because Plague is so damn strong in ZvP. Hawk is still on a decent amount of bases, he's got a lot of army still, and he has a lot of ways he can come in to defend this, but nice storms by dsaqwe so far. High Templar getting taken down before they can merge. There's 5 observers here. 5 observers with his army. dsaqwe is now down in supply, but he isn't in a terrible position. He is down to 1 mining base though. Both of his gases, oh sorry, 2 mining bases. 2 of his gases are depleted. He's got 1 gas now, which is very healthy, and his mineral only, which is about to mine out. But dsaqwe needs to make something happen here. He has to find more damage, and he is going to come out through the T-junction, see if he can make his way onto the middle of the map again. And this is somewhere where Hawk hasn't really defended very well. So let's see how that's going to go. Storm coming down on Hawk's units. Hawk is losing a lot of units, not training as efficiently, but Hawk still has so much money. 3 Defilers here. This is when you really want to see feedback. I think feedback is the one thing that a lot of Protoss players are missing in their late game. Feedback is so unbelievably good against Defilers, but looks like Hawk is actually going to... Sorry, dsaqwe is going to come back here, clear the way out of his base. That's going to allow him to expand over here, but we've got double expansion coming up here at the bottom left. dsaqwe really needs to look at splitting the map. He cannot afford to trade his army away over and over again. He has to expand, and he has to find a way. But he's still not breaking out of these lurkers. Like, he has units on both sides. He should be breaking out of the lurker contain. He has to break out. He can't sit on the bases he's got forever. There is going to be Swarm and Lings walking up here, and they're going to kill this base for free. Now here we go. Looks like he is going to try and come down the ramp here. All of his units kind of lining up though. Definitely not what you want to do. But he's going to be able to break out of the contain at least by the looks of it. But Swarm, Plague, you know, going to be a Swarm here. The Archon going to be oblivious to that. Doesn't really care. Going to go down anyway. And yeah, there's now wait, how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 observers with the army right now. 8 observers. They've all been plagued, so they're like 1 hit away from death. That's a lot of observers, a lot of supply in observers as well. And I mean, I guess when you really don't want your observers sniped, that's going to be a problem. But dsaqwe, I think, is going to go down here. Swarm and Lings is all you need to take down a base. Bringing the Hydras here is actually pointless. They don't need to be here at all. But looks like dsaqwe is going to be able to expand over to the bottom left now. Probe going down on the way though, losing out on some gas. And I mean, dsaqwe's in a lot of trouble. Like, dsaqwe can't hold into this anymore, right? Hawk is going to win game 2. I thought dsaqwe was in a good position, but he just wasn't able to find the damage he needed to do. He wasn't able to split the map in the way that would have given him the advantage. And that, of course, is going to tie up the series 1-1. But with iRk getting a walkover in game 3, iRk are going to go up 2-1 in this series after this game. Now obviously the game is not done yet, but dsaqwe is down 80 supply essentially. He's not got many units. There's a Defiler just chilling with all his his bros here. Look at this. Just sitting there. Surrounded by his Hydralisks, you know. And there's just going to be a Swarm here. And when Swarm falls in, there is going to be no way of killing these Hydras without a lot of Zealots. And he can't afford them. The Nexus is going to be targeted down as well. The Probe's getting in the way, actually. If he loses the Nexus, he can't afford another one. He cancels it at the very least. But yeah, this is a walking time bomb here with dsaqwe now. Hawk doing so much damage. Hawk continuing to grow. dsaqwe unable to rebuild his Nexus so far. He can't mine any minerals anymore. And I mean, this is game over. He's got a Corsair up here actually somehow. That ain't gonna help. This is game over. Like, Hawk cannot, oh sorry, dsaqwe cannot come back from this. Like, Defiler's definitely won the game here for our Zerg play. He's going to try and kill the bottom left-hand base. I mean, the thing is, Hawk is down to 3 mining bases. The bottom base you are not breaking as dsaqwe. I mean, you do have 8 observers, but it doesn't matter when you've not got enough units. The bottom right-hand base you could kill, but you've got to get down there. And the important thing is, you can't defend your main. And there we go. GG is called. This was one lazy Zealot not attacking that Hydra, but GG, Hawk takes game number 2, Dewalt takes game number 3 at WALKOVER, and that's going to take us to game number 4 when we get back after this short break. See you guys soon.
Select your trigger hard.
Okay guys, welcome back. We're going into game number 4 here, starting us off in the top left hand corner, fighting for iRk with his team on match point thanks to Terra not showing up against Dewalt. It's Oya from Sweden. And his opponent spawning down here in the bottom right hand corner. We have our second North American player in this series. It's going to be StRyKeR in the red, fighting for NaS. And when I say North American, I mean USA, because we had DragOn, so he'll be the third, of course, North American player. Just correcting myself there. So we just had a very long ZvP here. So are we going to have another one? I've not seen too many long games. I don't think I've seen any long games on Paradise. Now, Paradise is one of the maps like Bluestorm, where I thought we'd have long games all the time, but we just haven't. A lot of early aggression. I suppose Bluestorm was kind of like that in the beginning as well, like before everyone kind of figured out how to defend all the cheese. Like, Bluestorm was a very defensive map at the end, because essentially if you got past the early game in Bluestorm, it was guaranteed to go on like 30-40 minutes, right? I think Paradise is kind of like that. It's just we've had a lot of the games ending in the early game, so we've never really hit the mid game or late game. Now, one thing to point out, if you don't know, is on the 30th of January, which is tomorrow, at 19:30 CET, that's Europe time, 13:30 Eastern time, and then I think that would be... The Eastern time is 3 hours different, so it would be 10:30 AM Pacific time. Who is the people that are hosting it? It's Team Think Quick are hosting Bonneth versus Dewalt, a 9-game show match, and the map pool is Charmander, Blindside, and Desert Dwellers. So it's going to be a PvP between Bonneth and Dewalt, champion versus champion, and it's going to be awesome. So tune in to watch that. That's going to be really good. Now back to this game, we'll get a gateway first. This has been kind of a standard build on Paradise so far. We had an overpull for Oya going into an expansion behind it, and going into his first 6 lings. Yeah, I think the reason why the games have been quicker is you do have a relatively big ramp here, whereas Bluestorm, the quick way, is only open to small units, like Zerglings and Zealots. I wonder if that's something that we could change about the map to make the middle of the map a little bit less aggressive early game, because you'd have to walk a lot longer. But Bluestorm is one of those maps that I kind of want to put in the STPL. I kind of avoided it because it's too standard, but I like games on Bluestorm. Like, we've not had Bluestorm in many tournaments recently. Like, one of the big problems I always have is, like, fighting spirit circuit breakers and whatnot. They do lead to good games, like Polypoid, but they're just at times, they've just been used in every single tournament, and it's just, it gets boring watching the same maps over and over again, right? Is that just me who feels that way? I've always felt that way about Brood War, and that's why I liked Proleague so much, because the maps changed every season. There were some maps that would carry over, some would get, like, a new version, like Shin Peaks of Baekdu, Shin Chopung Ryung, like New Tornado, Neo Electric Circuit, that kind of stuff. But here we go, the Forge is up, the wall is done, and that means Oya is pretty tight here at the front. So he's not going to die to any Ling All-In, which is good. Definitely don't want to see another Ling All-In. We've got StRyKeR going for the base behind the natural, which is very easy to hold on to. Thing is, it's always funny as well, because just a guy in chat said the best part of STPL is the weird maps. Like, the way I look at the maps I've picked, most of them were in Pro League for multiple seasons, and to me they're not weird. But it's just because no one really plays them. So I guess they are weird. Like, they were really good pro maps. And, I mean, obviously this season's a little bit different because we got maps designed purely for the STPL. And I think that's led to some really exciting games, so I'm kind of glad I made that decision in the end. It does mean we've not seen Seoul send out any of their foreign players because they've not signed up to play, because they don't like the maps, but I mean, that's on them. If they don't want to play on the maps, whatever. You know, it's down to people individually. Thing is, like, other than Rosen Bridge, all the maps are relatively standard that we've got in Season 4. So, I don't really get the weird map argument. I don't know. Either way, we've got the Zealots pushing in, doing a lot of damage here, but Zergling's getting a nice surround. And the Zergling's going to be able to clean up all these Zealots before they can do any major damage, which is definitely not something Ouya wants. He was riding a lot on this attack, being able to do more damage. +1, not finished. It's a long way off. So maybe this was a little bit of a misguided attack. He does get a scout on the Spire and the Lair, so and he also saw that the egg was gone, so he should know that the third base is up. Yeah, I love... Okay. Guy in chat saying Crystallis. Not gonna lie, I love playing games on that map because it's like no other Broodmaw map ever. Like, you will never get a game like a game on Crystallis. It's so fun. Like, I don't know why. I'm just weird, I guess. But losing all those Zealots means he doesn't actually have a wall anymore. He's pulling probes to be able to wall in. And when this is happening, you know you've made a little bit of a mistake here as a Protoss player. He's only got a single cannon as well. There is going to be a ton of Lings getting into his main here. And this is exactly what StRyKeR needs if he wants to take a win over Ouya here. He's going to get into the probe line, gets a probe immediately. Can he get a second one? No, the probes are too strong, killing some of the Lings. And this is looking rough. StRyKeR not getting the counter damage that he wanted to. He obviously had to build a lot of Lings. He did defend all the Zealots, but he built so many Lings that weren't drones. The StRyKER's in a bit of a weird position. I'd say the game is still relatively even, just because it is so early on and neither player is taking critical damage, but I don't know. Cannon been forced in the main. Obviously when he's up against Spire, this isn't a bad choice anyway, because you will need to defend against the Mutalisks, which are being spawned in right this second. We've got the 4th and 5th hatchery being added on at exactly the same time as part of a wall here on the natural. It's going to help a little bit against when the eventual +1 Zealot attack comes in. We've got Dragoons coming in already because we don't actually have a Stargate. There is no Stargate for Ouya. He has decided to skip Stargate for some reason, go for Citadel first. And this is going to be rough. Mutalisks are very good against... Mutalisks are incredibly good against Dragoons. Now it's going to take a while for the Mutalisk count to build up. But this is going to be a little bit rough, I think, for Ouya. Okay, we're hitting that part of Friday evening where my lack of sleep last night is really starting to catch up on me, so my energy may drop a little bit. Now looks like we do have a 6th hatchery coming in from StRyKeR, so while he is not doing any damage with his 5 Mutalisks, he is able to push back Ouya into his main base and keep him from attacking him, which is going to be very, very important. Muta's going to try and fly up to the top. They will fly into the cannons for fun. That was a bit of a mistake. Going to lose one of his Mutas here. We do have the forge that blocks off this back path, by the way, to the 5th base. Hydra speed coming in. Hydra range is going to be coming up after that. +1 is on the way as well. A load of drones have just spawned. And he is going to be looking in a pretty strong position. But Ouya coming out now with a lot of +1 Dragoons. There is like weird timings you can do where you go for like Dragoon all in. But usually you get Reavers with that. But we've got a lot of Templar going to start coming in here. Another 3 gateways being added on, up to 7 on the 2 bases. The 3rd base essentially for Protoss is free in this situation, but obviously the Hydras can block the minerals, but you get the gas. But Ouya is definitely not a good defense so far. I thought he'd do worse against the Mutalisks than he actually did, so that's a bonus. StRyKeR, of course, is starting to pull ahead in economy. He's got a lot of bases now, he's got a lot of drones. No 3rd gas yet. He is going to continue to add on units. He's making well not to mine out this mineral. That means that DT could just sort of run into his base and start messing stuff up. That's one of the map features on this map. You can mine through to get into the opponent's expansion. Also, you can obviously just attack over the minerals. It's kind of like, it's very outsidery, this base. It's kind of, I guess a better example would be it's very similar to the bases on Great Barrier Reef. That's another good map we had a lot of good games on in the STPL, by the way. Maybe look for that one in the future come back, because I enjoyed watching games on that. A lot of the mutalists have actually been taken down now, so it's only 2 mutants remaining out of the initial 5. Obviously Hydras are going to be the order of the day here, but Hydras suffer against a lot of Storm, and that is certainly something Oya is going to have going for him. Now we are going to have, for the first time I think in the STPL, these high grounds really starting to come into effect here. This is the kind of Blue Storm-esque area of this map. I think that's where he got the idea from. But basically it looks like Oya has done enough to get on top of this. He does storm his own zealots, but not without killing a ton of the Hydras. Nice micro back so far by StRyKeR. But Oya definitely getting the better end of this engagement. StRyKeR going to have to pull fully back here unless he wants to lose all of his Hydras. And that was overall a good engagement by Oya. Final 2 mutalisks taken down, so there's going to be no more threat of mutalisks, at least for the time being. The final Hydra is trying to come back up to the high ground, see if they could snipe one of the High Templar at the back. Doesn't quite manage to do it. So going to lose some more Hydras for his trouble, and Oya's playing this incredibly well. Now one of the building exits on the gateway is blocked. He can't build units out of this gateway, so he's going to have to either kill a pylon, or he's going to have to kill one of the gateways to allow that to come out. I thought that building placement was a bit weird. I think he can build small units, but he can't build Dragoons. I think High Templar should be able to spawn. Now we've got StRyKeR opening up the back path here. There is another mineral you have to mine through. I want to see if that spawns or not, so we're going to keep an eye on that. But it looks like another great storm by Oya on the high ground. Oya is doing so well recently, by the way. Like, Oya in Season 1 and 2 of the STPL was strong, but in Season 3 and Season 4, he has really come into his own. I would say, yeah, so High Templars can spawn there. I would say that Oya, right now, is probably the 3rd best Protoss player outside of Korea. I don't know if that's, like... I don't know if that's, like, controversial, but that's what it feels like to me. Whenever you watch him play, he looks so dominant recently in the STPL. Like, he's really, really strong. Like, in his last 10 games in the STPL, he's only lost against 2 players. One of them was Hero, and one of them was Noob. Noob is the #1 ranked player in the STPL, and Hero is one of the best Terran players in the tournament. Trouble is, I haven't been following BSL, because I just haven't had the time. So, and I've not really followed RCG either, which is kind of bad to admit. But I don't know how Oya did in those. I think Oya did quite well in RCG though, didn't he? Now we've got the 4th base coming up for Oya. Sorry, this is the 5th base. They came 4th in RCG. That's pretty impressive. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, because wasn't RCG's top 4 Dewalt, Bonith, Oya, and... wasn't there a Zerg? True Touch, was it? Oh, Dandy was the last one, okay. I'm so used to foreign tournaments being nothing but Zerg and Protoss that I forgot Terran existed. Part of the reason why I was glad I allowed Koreans at the start of the STPL was because we never had any Terrans. Oh, he built a Dragoon out the gateway again. He's wasting money. He's wasting money, everyone. Oh yeah, not a god after all. He's a fraud. But oh, you're doing so well with these engagements. Hydra is getting caught off guard. Definitely not the best position. StRyKeR doesn't have a lot of lurkers on this high ground, so Oya is going to break his way up. And by breaking his way up onto this high ground, he blocks the bottom right-hand base from going, or being able to be defended. Where are all of StRyKER's units? He really doesn't have that much supply in units for some reason. I'd love to see what his supply in workers are, because he's got 61 drones. He's only got 30 supply of units right now. And I think that Oya is going to win the game in one fell swoop here. This is such a powerful push. It's 2-2 against 1-0. There is not enough units. Obviously the ramp is going to help out a little bit. Dragoon's going to find it very hard to push down this ramp. But he's going to get a position over the gas if he wants to, if he takes this position here. And he's going to have a position over the mineral only as well. And building exit blocked again. He keeps building Dragoons out of this gateway. He's not realized, I think. That's 3 times so far this game. That's 3 extra units that Oya doesn't have. Now, a single lurker on the low ground has held this base for the time being. The Archon getting taken down. StRyKeR is holding his own against this first army, but there's so many reinforcements coming back in. There's no form of SimCity here at the third base. And that means, or the fourth base I guess this was, and that means the Zealot's getting on top of the Hydras here. I think he must have +3 attack now. +3 attack's not done, but he is on 2-2, I think I said that before. But looks like StRyKeR is going to hold on, but is he going to be able to hold on down here? We had a Storm drop down here in the bottom right, getting 8 kills. Dragoons on the low ground now. There's not many units. Hydra's coming in from above to try and defend, but then they're going to have the same problem. They're going to be up against it. And a DT dropping in the main. 4 units have gone down. 3 of them were Lings, so it's not the end of the world here. But oh yeah, definitely starting to come into his own. So good on his multitask. Both of these players are around 280 APM, but Oya is definitely making more effective use of his right now because he is pulling Oya all over the shop. We've got the high temp here as well. Oh my god, if he storms these drones. Oh, he's not going to get a chance. Or is he going to do it anyway? Oh, he does. Oh, I'm glad he didn't leave until that was done. GG. Oh, StRyKeR taps out and Oya wins game number 4. I always love when that happens. It's kind of like a victory lap in the replay, and I am not looking at the right screen again. That's twice I've done that today, but hopefully that's fine. So, a little bit unfortunate we missed Dewalt versus Terra. I think that would have been an amazing match. I think Dewalt probably has the advantage. But yeah, Terra not showing up is really disappointing. I'm kind of sad about that one. We could have maybe gone to an ace match if Terra had, well, if Terra had won, we would have gone to an ace match. But very good games this series. DragOn winning over vOddy in a really well-played Island versus Island Rosen Bridge. Hawk winning over dsaqwe in a very long and very cool ZvP. Very well played by him. Dewalt beating Terra in a walkover. And then Oya kind of demolishing StRyKeR at the end there on Paradise. Really, really well played by Oya. Really showing why he's been so good recently. That is going to be the end of our series for today. I'm just going to head on over to quickly reopen the overlay. I'm wondering how quick I can do this because I want to show the table at the end of the week. Let's see if I can do this fast. We go back to team rankings. We did it. We did it, team. We figured it out. Okay, so at the end of week 7, we have 2 more weeks of normal play. There is only 2 weeks to basically change the outcome of how this is going. We've got Soul Gaming going undefeated in series, but losing 5 of their games so far. We've got Wico in second. Closely following them is Ash and NetWars, very close behind on 5 and 2. iRk and NaS now, iRk pulling ahead of NaS by winning there. We're putting them 4-3. NaS dropping to 6th, but still within the qualifying positions in 3-4. Just below NaS are Red and DM, but I think Red, DM, Revolution, and Psy are officially out. Like, they can't qualify, but depending on how the final games go for NaS and iRk, Red and DM still have a chance. I think Ash and NetWars are kind of solid. Like, I don't know if Ash and NetWars can fall out, but when you look at the upcoming matchups, we've got Soul versus Ash, DM versus Psy, Wico versus Red, iRk versus ReV, and NetWars versus NaS. So they are going to be incredibly important, especially DM versus Psy is going to be really important for DM. NetWars versus NaS is going to be important because if NetWars take down NaS, it might knock them out of the playoffs. And then on week 9, we've got Red versus iRk. With Red being so close, it's going to be important to see if they can beat iRk. We've got ReV versus NetWars. Once again, it may not really matter for ReV because they're not going to qualify, but it could hurt the seeding for NetWars. Psy versus NaS. That is not really going to matter for Psy, but if NaS lose to Psy, then of course they are possibly going out. Ash versus Wico. That kind of isn't going to change the outcome, I don't think, of the seeding too much. And then DM versus Soul as well. So I think DM are going to struggle to make it into the playoffs because they are against 2 of the stronger teams moving forward. But I definitely think red may be in with a shot based on that. But that's going to be it for today, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you, of course, to our sponsors, Esport Fund and Maturino. I'm going to find someone to host while we go through introducing the patrons. Obviously, thank you to our patrons as well. They do help me a hell of a lot. Basically, I've bought my microphone through Patreon money. I bought my headphones through Patreon money, I think. I've put money to the prize pool, and I'm going to be able to get a new desk with Patreon money as well. Really, really thankful for you guys for helping me be able to stream. So thank you so much. I'll see you guys next time, and I'll be back on Monday, 2100 CET, 2000 GMT, for some more STPL. If you're watching this, you're watching the STPL. Hopefully, you've been enjoying what you've seen so far. If you want to help me make more STPL content to bring more tournaments to you, please support us on Patreon, which you can find up here. And also, there's so many different things you can get through Patreon. One of the main and one of the easiest ones to get is, of course, access to all of the replays of the STPL so far. We've had some amazing games, such as some of the games you can see just over here.